To talk about subtracting fractions, especially fractions with denominators that are not the same, it's best if we just take a good example and kind of see how these questions are presented. Simply states the biology class has created two data files on the computer. One file is 2 1/9 megabyte, while the other file is 4 1/4 or 1/4 megabyte. How much bigger is one than the other? Now, one of the things that I encourage you to do is to go through these word problems and look for key phrases or key words. How much bigger? One of those key phrases that comes as how much bigger, how taller than, how greater than. You are looking at essentially the difference between one and the other. And that is the operation of subtraction. That is primary to getting these kinds of problems correct. So once we know it's a subtraction problem, we're going to look at getting the difference. So we'll take 4 1/4 and subtract 2 1/9. Now, this is step one, and an important step. We've noticed it's a subtraction problem. We're getting the difference or comparison between two entities. But now we have to look at the rules or the process for subtracting properly. And the rule for subtracting and for adding fractions is that I have to have a common denominator. To say it clearly, these numbers at the bottom of the fraction, which is the denominator, must be the same. I have to have apples and apples or oranges and oranges, but I can't have fourths and ninths. So to find a common denominator, simply look for what is referred to as the least common multiple. Now, there are at least two major ways of finding this. We'll look at the most straightforward way right now. Let's just start listing the multiples of 4. 4, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, and we could keep going, but let's now list the multiples of 9. 9 times 2 is 18, 9 times 3 is 27, 36. Now I've got a common multiple. I had to go pretty high in the ranks for the 4s, but sometimes that's necessary. So there's my common denominator, 36. So I need to write 4 1/4 as 4 and something over 36. Well, the first tendency is to just put 1 there, but I can't do that because 1/4 is not equal to 1/36. Oh, look at my fractions, 4 and 36. What do I have to multiply 4 by to get 36? Well, if I can't remember, 36 divided by 4 is 9. So if I multiply my denominators by 9, I need to multiply my numerator. So 1 times 9 is 9. I'm going to write this up here so you see where we got that. In fact, I'm going to write this down here so you see how that got there. So let's subtract 2. Now 1/9 is something over 36. So 9 times 4 was 36. So I'm going to have to do the same thing with my numerator. 1 times 4 is 4. Now I have them set up to be able to just subtract. The easiest thing to do here is say 4 minus 2. Well, 4 minus 2 is 2. And 9 minus 4, well, that's 5 over my common denominator of 36. So the answer to this question of how much greater, how much bigger is one file than the other, one is 4 1/4 megabytes, the other is 2 19 megabytes, is 2 5/36 megabytes. So I'll put the units on there, circle that, put a smiley face because I know with confidence I have done this correctly, and I would move on to the next problem. In review, look for our keywords. How much bigger told me that this was a difference problem. I knew it was a subtraction operation. I had to get my common denominator, for my fractions had different denominators. To do that, I found the least common multiple by simply listing out the multiples of 4 and the multiples of 9 and finding where they were the same. Converted my fractions from the old denominator to the new denominator, being careful to make sure I adjusted my numerators as well. And then once I got everything the same, I simply did the subtraction. So there you go. I hope that helps you understand a little bit more about how to add, especially subtract, fractions that have unlike denominators. Thank you.